This week's Mary's Memo really hits on maintaining a healthy weight. So, of course, it includes foods that help with that.
That's right, like vegetables or fruits or maybe some lean proteins.
Right. And Velveeta.
Oh. Welcome to Mom's Wooden Spoon, where the recipes are retro and so are your hosts.
You can say that again. Hello, and welcome to Mom's Wooden Spoon. Today we are cooking something from Mary's Memo, March 18th, 1985.
Yay.
Yeah, in this memo, we learn the, and I quote, case for being thinner.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is related to the case for being thinner or not.
Yeah.
But then we get three.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I said three recipes, all featuring cottage cheese.
Because that is the health food of the century.
Well, if I do recall from last season,
Yeah.
we were discussing some heinous Weight Watcher recipes.
Oh, yes.
All of which featured cottage cheese.
And you know what? I think we might be making some of those heinous Weight Watchers recipes this season.
Yeah, I don't know why you're saying that with enthusiasm.
I'm kind of saying it with trepidation.
Yeah,
but
trepidation is good.
Yeah.
Fear,
Yeah.
which is kind of like trepidation. But yeah, just flat out hostility.
Hostility.
I want to eat that crap. So we are not cottage cheese gaggers.
No, it doesn't make me gag.
There are a lot of people that absolutely are.
Yes.
But like you mix it into lasagna and you don't notice, I don't think,
No.
the cottage cheese necessarily. It's just there.
That's right. But looking at this cottage cheese, I see the difference between this and Arp's cottage cheese from Defiance.
The best cottage
cheese. Which is the
cheese.
best. It's just so different. This one looks much creamier or liquidier or slimier.
Yeah. Okay. I'm so glad you said this.
Oh, are you?
I looked into cottage cheese.
Oh my.
How do you make cottage cheese?
Yeah.
What makes cottage cheese cottagey?
Yes, cottagey.
And I know things.
Oh, do you now?
Oh, I do. Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, cottage cheese is essential. I'm going to read some of this because I could not remember all this stuff.
Okay.
Cottage cheese is essentially curds, which form when an acid curdles the milk. So they add who knows what.
Vinegar, lemon juice, whatever.
Yeah.
Acid, battery acid.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that and cream. So you have cream, you have acid, you get curdles. Okay. It's thought to be the first cheese made in America.
Oh, neat.
I thought that was neat.
Yeah.
And it was brought to the U.S. from Europe, obviously, where they have cottage cheese. Okay. So like all dairy products, cottage cheese starts as milk, and then you add enzymes, the probiotics, the whatever.
Okay.
And then you're going to convert the milk sugars into lactic acid.
Oh,
lactic acid separates the curds, which are the milk solids, fat proteins, from the whey,
like
which
Little
is
Miss
the liquid.
Muffet. Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet.
Okay, so after that's all separated, what happens is all of that curd stuff basically forms a solid block of cheese.
Oh, wow.
I thought this was so cool.
Oh,
Then what they do is they take a knife-like curd cutter.
Oh,
that is
funny.
what it's called.
A curd cutter.
Curd cutter. And the size of the curd cutter depends on if you have large curd or small curd cottage cheese.
That's really interesting.
I know. So they take this thing and they whoosh it back and forth through until you get your curds. And then voila, you have cottage cheese. And then they kind of pour off a lot of that whey. So depending on how much they pour off, depends on whether you get slimy cottage cheese or not. And then, of course, after you open it and it sits, not in that vacuum pack thing, more whey comes out of the curds.
Yes.
And it gets gross and liquidy again.
That's right.
Which is why I like single servings.
Oh, they're a little bit drier. You've talked about this before.
Yes.
You like the drier one. I've talked about Arps before too. It's just a drier cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And the curds are minuscule.
Yeah. We did get small curd.
Yeah, it's small curd, but it's not as small as the Arps.
It is definitely within a lot of cream.
It's a real cream.
Yeah, but I mean, we also got the cheapest money could buy.
That's okay, because it's going in something, and I don't think we told everybody what we're actually making. We talked about cottage cheese, but not what we're making. You want to tell them?
We're making stuff with cottage cheese. I'm just kidding. This is a spinach cheese casserole.
Yes.
And the cheese, people, is not just cottage cheese.
No.
Oh, no. We're bouging it up today, people.
Yeah, we are.
We are adding in the Velveeta.
You don't get no better than that.
I mean, what? Velveeta, not just for mac and cheese.
No, it's for spinach.
This does not sound appealing to me.
It might turn out absolutely delicious. I am going to just hope for the best.
You know, Mary typically surprises us.
Yeah.
But really, they lost me at Velveeta. I'm fine with the cottage cheese all day long.
Yeah.
Because those suckers have been cut with their curd cutter.
That's
Mighty fine.
right. That's right. Well, it's not that much of Velveeta. I was trying to figure it out. I think it says 1/4 pound of Velveeta. And I'm looking at the block we have. The block is 2 pounds. So we're going to cut that in half. And then we'll have it again. And then we'll have a half.
Doing your math.
I know I did it before this because I was really nervous that I wouldn't figure it out.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I don't know. Velveeta's pretty pungent.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we shall see. It's basically an American cheese product.
It's something.
Yep.
It's something. Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Oh
my gosh, y'all, we're never going to cook this meal because I have
never
so many exciting things to share.
Is
with
it
you.
more cheese facts?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This time, though, it's about Velveeta.
Oh, my.
So first off, almost happy 100th birthday for Velveeta.
Really?
100 years old
That's
for
a
a fake
long
cheese
time.
product.
Wow.
Go Velveeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff has been shelf stable since 1928.
Wow.
Okay, so I looked up some fun recipes with Velveeta, and I found one that I felt everybody needed to try this evening.
Yeah.
You make dinner.
Yeah.
Then you want a nice little appetizer to go with your dinner.
Yes.
What you need to do,
Okay.
get you a Ritz cracker.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any Ritz crackers?
I do.
Okay, because I feel like we need to try this.
Okay.
So you get your Ritz cracker. You take a little bit of Velveeta.
Yeah.
You put that on there.
Okay.
And then you don't want that dry in your mouth.
No,
So
no.
you add some ketchup.
Oh, no. You can try it.
No, I feel like we need to.
Oh, gosh, that makes me gag. This cottage cheese does not make me gag.
I feel like we need to try that for
Ketchup
people.
on the Velveeta.
On a Ritz cracker.
All right, we'll try it when we get back.
I think
at the end.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Oh,
Give that a try.
yeah.
So, but as I was looking these things up, I found they have a website called basically Livin' La Dolce Velveeta.
What?
Yeah. My jaw dropped.
Yeah.
From amazement at what I saw.
Oh, well.
At Livin' La Dolce Velveeta.
Will do tell.
Oh, I'm going to. The first is a lovely product called the chocolate cheese truffle.
No.
They partnered with a chocolate company, and they make little chocolates and Velveeta, and they look like a little Velveeta macaroni and cheese shell.
Yeah.
And it's orange. It's Velveeta colored.
Okay.
It comes in a little box, all Velveeta colored, and you get like 5 little shells that have an orange chocolate inside and a creamy cheese.
Oh, so it does not have Velveeta in it.
Oh, I think it does.
Oh, no.
And looking at the picture, when you split them open, there's a little ball of chocolate and this creamy cheese-looking substance
on the inside. Oh, no.
Truffle.
No, thank you.
Chocolate and Velveeta. Then they also, in 2022, so just recently,
oh my goodness,
created the Velveeta Veltini.
Oh, come on. With Velveeta in a martini?
Yeah, for reals. So they like to say that it is the take on a classic martini.
Okay.
It mixes Velveeta infused vodka.
Oh, no.
Do you have to make that at home yourself, or do they sell that?
I'm literally gagging.
What color is it? I want to know. So Velveeta infused vodka with olive brine and vermouth, because it's a martini. Then you garnish it with a Velveeta cheese drip along the edge of it.
No, you cannot make me do that.
There's a picture.
Oh, you have to put that on the website.
Oh, it's heinous. It kind of looks like orange juice.
It does.
With cheese dripping along the edge.
That would be a very not nice surprise.
Oh, it would not be. And then you get your cocktail pick, of course. Yeah. With Velveeta stuffed olives and jumbo Velveeta shells and cheese. And you put those.
No, you do not. That's insanity.
No. So we're going to have a fabulous appetizer tonight. Crackers, Velveeta, and ketchup with our Velveeta teeny.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Yes,
I cannot wait.
Veltini.
Oh, good Lord. Let's make this recipe. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
No, there's two more. Please, two more.
Oh,
two.
Okay.
Yeah. It goes on and on.
Yeah, it really does.
They have Velveeta hair dye. You can dye your hair the color of Velveeta cheese.
You are kidding me.
I would never.
What?
Who buys that?
Who buys that?
That Velveeta hair color.
It's labeled as Velveeta hair color?
Yeah. Yellow Velveeta. colored hair dye.
That's just crazy.
And not to be outdone, I kind of saved the least stomach churning for last.
Oh, good. Yeah.
You can buy Velveeta cheese scented nail polish.
That's just the weirdest. I might understand a candle, but nail polish?
Nail polish. And it comes in a 2-pack. And the colors are from the box. Like the orange of the Velveeta cheese and the red of the writing of Velveeta. And somebody tried them. Somebody bought them and tried them. And they said when they first put it on, they sniffed it and it smells, like nail polish.
Yeah, chemically. Yeah.
But then after it all dried, they took a whiff. And there was, in fact,
a Velveeta scent. That just seems like one of those things you'd see on a discount counter for 95% off.
I mean, like in the bins galore.
Yes. Because who the heck is going to buy that?
I mean, and it cost a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, $14.95. Yeah. I mean, that would be a fortune for me. $24.95 for normal people.
Yeah, well, guys, start looking for your white elephant gifts for some Velveeta nail polish.
I think you need to get people Velveeta infused vodka.
Oh, gosh.
No. I mean, that could be like a dare.
That could be an excellent holiday craft that you could then give away to others.
That's perfect. And everybody comes over and you make Velveeta Veltinis.
Yes.
As your signature cocktail.
Cocktail.
Do they sell Velveeta stuffed olives or do you have to buy them? Oh, this is another podcast in which I get to say olives. So do you have to stuff your olive with your chunk of Velveeta?
Or can you must. I don't know that you can buy that.
This is a lot of work.
It is too much work. Let's make this because I think this casserole is very little work.
It really does.
I think it's basically a dump and stir.
That sounds way better.
Dump and stir.
Than infusing some vodka.
That with Velveeta. Way better.
Although, I don't know, I'm kind of tempted. Maybe that should be our get-together event. Is having a Velveeta Veltini.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to try it.
Oh, you'll be trying it. And then, and I can make the appetizers with the crackers and the Velveeta. We could just have like Velveeta night and everybody has to wear their Velveeta colored clothing.
Yeah, nail polish.
And hair dye.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Kristen is really not liking
I really don't want to do this. Okay, so tell us what's in this, Kara.
Velveeta.
Yeah.
There's a little cottage cheese.
Yep.
Spinach.
Surprise.
Yeah. And then there's, I don't know, some eggs.
Yeah, 3 eggs. And then there's some
flour and
butter that we have to sliver, which will be interesting.
Yeah, because people chunk it up and put it on there. But you always have like puddles of butter. So maybe the idea
is just super thin.
Yes.
But the first thing we need to do while you start dumping everything in is we have to thaw this frozen spinach in the micro and then squeeze out all the water.
And you'll all be pleased to know, I recently was watching the newest season of the Great British Bake Off.
Oh, yeah.
They had to make some kind of pie with spinach in it. And a lot of people went down because they had a soggy bottom in their pie because they didn't squeeze out enough water from the spinach.
Wow.
All right, so I added all of the cottage cheese as you're supposed to. And Kristen is cooking the spinach. She has little spinach flecks all over her hands.
All over my hands. So I love frozen spinach. It has a very different consistency than canned spinach. Canned spinach is what I consider a monstrosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember quite clearly our mother who loves to eat carrots directly from the can and say they're candy.
Yeah.
She would take canned spinach. And do you remember? She'd put mayonnaise in it.
What?
To eat it.
Yes. No.
Yep.
No,
yep.
no, no,
she
no.
does. That's how she would eat it.
What?
A little bit of mayonnaise in it. Now, I read online, I couldn't find anybody who ate it with mayonnaise in it. And that's nasty. But I found that people do a little vinegar over the top of it. I can understand that. I just can't get past the texture and the smell of canned spinach. But when they came out with Popeye spinach, they fooled a lot of kids into thinking that spinach was tasty.
Okay, so you are just playing into my hand.
Oh, goody. You get to hear more stories from Carrie.
Yeah, it's like you knew everything I was thinking. Wow. Oh my, we are so simpatico today.
Simpatico.
This is exciting. So since you mentioned Popeye the Sailor Man, which obviously has to be the first thing anyone associates with spinach.
Of course.
Did you know that when Popeye became popular during the Great Depression, consumption of spinach increased by 33%?
That's just crazy.
I know. Everybody believed it. And at that time, American children listed spinach as their third favorite food after turkey and ice cream.
Good Lord, that is brainwashing galore, isn't it? That's insane.
So then I started looking for some people's comments about spinach.
Yeah.
And you mentioned canned spinach. And I found just two things that kind of made me laugh.
Okay.
And so one person responded to this that we have kids' favorite foods, turkey, ice cream, and spinach. Yeah, and he mentioned that there are only 4 foods back then, and the 4th was cod liver oil.
Okay. That's funny.
I was like, touche, Kenny G. And then the other person said, and this is just for you. I'm telling you, you read my mind.
What?
It says, has anyone had canned spinach? It's the most vile, repulsive, slimy peep ever. Fresh spinach, awesome. Yeah. Sauteed spinach,
Delish.
awesome.
Yeah.
Canned spinach, the devil's colostomy bags content.
That's awesome. And it's true, the devil's colostomy bags content. It is so true. It's just nasty. My husband loves it. He has a can in there all the time. And if he needs a side vegetable for his lunch, he'll eat canned spinach.
Yeah, but this is the same man that'll open a can of sardines.
That is also true.
I feel like we can't.
No, can't trust him at all.
No. That's like asking mom what canned carrots taste like.
That's right. Because
it ain't candy, people.
Not candy. So I found a really cool article that talked about spinach in 1985.
Okay.
And it was talking about our beloved spinach dip in a bread bowl.
Oh, delish.
It came out in 1985 around the Super Bowl. And it was from these San Francisco bakers who wanted to sell more bread.
Interesting.
So they thought they would put the spinach dip in a bread bowl.
Genius.
It was genius, but they screwed over all the grocers because the grocers called them screaming, "Why didn't you tell us you were going to advertise this? We have run out of sour cream, Norse vegetable soup mix, and frozen spinach."
That's hilarious. Well, who knew it would take off like that?
Nobody knew it would take off like that and that it would become this huge 80s phenomenon, right? And it was this really important football game in San Francisco because it was Dan Marino and Joe Montana facing off.
Oh.
1985.
Yeah. So can you tell me those teams?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
because
shut
I'm
up.
reading it right now. It is Miami Dolphins and the 49ers.
Correct. And who did Dan Marino play for?
He definitely played for the Dolphins.
You are right. Did you guess?
Yep.
Good job, Kristen.
Thank you very much.
You knew that.
Thank you. I totally knew that. Thank goodness I wrote a lot of stuff down because I would have sounded like an idiot. But oh my gosh, do I love spinach dip in a bread bowl still.
Oh, for sure. I think that was really, truly the first time I ever ate anything with spinach in it. And, felt good about it.
Yeah, and really enjoyed it.
Yes.
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I did not grow up during the Popeye era.
No.
And I did not like to eat canned spinach as my third favorite food.
Me neither. That is the craziest story, Carrie.
Yeah.
Absolutely
I would have preferred cod liver oil.
I would have too. That's insanity. Oh my goodness. And nowadays we don't really make it in a sourdough bread bowl. I always try to buy the King's Hawaiian bread bowl.
Oh.
A little sweet with the savory spinach dip.
It's good. Plus then you can buy the rolls so you have extra bread.
That's clever. I didn't think about that.
Because there's never really enough bread when you cut out the hole.
No, there really isn't. No.
You have to have extra.
That's right. Well, there were a couple other funny things that happened in 1985, and I'm going to open up this Velveeta, and it's going to be shaking, so I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. Or you can just drop the Velveeta.
Can you get it open? I don't want to tear the box, because I think we're going to have to save 3/4 pound of Velveeta. We'll have to find something else to do it on a different podcast.
Ooh, Velveeta. Round 2.
Maybe we can make chocolate truffles with Velveeta oozing out of the outside.
Yes. Just a million Velveeta Veltinis.
Oh, God.
So many good options.
Oh my goodness.
I'm assuming we have to cut this into little teeny tiny chunks.
We do. Let's see what it says about it.
Little cubes.
Yeah, there's not a lot of directions on here.
Yeah.
So I was going to tell you about some weird things I found about 1985.
Yes.
I found some good things, which is the beloved spinach dip.
Yes.
And I also remembered that was the year that Coca-Cola tried to change their recipe.
New Coke.
And it was such an
Epic
epic
fail.
It was. And they had to embarrassingly switch back.
Yeah, take it away. New Coke, followed by an apology for the ages.
Oh my gosh. It was listed as one of 1985's most embarrassing moments.
I'm sure. Somebody lost their job over that.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder, was it not that it didn't taste better, but that we're like, hey, don't change our Coca-Cola. This is our Coca-Cola.
I think so, because recently Kraft Macaroni and Cheese changed their formula.
Yeah.
It was in response to people not wanting chemicals in their food.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they took out all the fake food coloring and put in paprika.
Oh.
And they told no one.
Oh.
They didn't say a word. Now, did they mark it on their boxes? Of course they did.
Right. Knew it improved?
No, they just changed the ingredients.
Oh my gosh.
They did nothing.
That is very, very smart.
And then after a year, roughly, of selling people paprika only mac and cheese, they finally came out and let people know. And immediately were flooded with people complaining about the taste.
They learned their lesson from the Coke, didn't they?
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. People are like, don't mess with my food.
Don't mess with my food.
It tasted exactly the same.
Yeah.
They had no complaints until they told people what they had done to their food for the last year. I thought that was amazing.
I knew it tasted bad. Yeah, I knew it.
That's exactly what they were doing. People were like, I could tell it was different.
That's so funny. That's what happened with the Coke.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Don't mess with my Coke.
Yeah. And it's such a comfort, much like mac and cheese, really.
Yes.
It's such a comfort product.
You know what I didn't like was when they changed the directions on the mac and cheese box to make it healthy and took out like the quarter cup of butter and I'm like, what? And now they're putting the original directions back on.
So I have not made it with a quarter cup of butter for years.
Really? Oh, I do every time because if I'm eating mac and cheese, I want it real bad for me.
Well, when I was in college, we would make mac and cheese a lot in our hot pots.
Oh.
And nobody had butter.
Oh, right.
So you just got used things to like that. So yeah, somebody would have milk. Sometimes we wouldn't even have that. You just add water.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told this or not, but we all love mac and cheese so much. So there'd be like 4 or 5 of us. Someone would get out their hot pot and make mac and cheese, and we had rules.
Rules?
Oh yeah, we'd all sit around with our forks.
What?
And if you dropped the mac and cheese, you paid a 3-second penalty.
Oh,
you couldn't put your fork back in the pot for 3 seconds. And when 5 people,
whoa, and you're all digging in super fast.
Yes,
oh
3
my
seconds
gosh.
Was epic.
That's hilarious.
There was no wasting in that dorm room, I'll tell you.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to sliver butter. I don't think this is slivering. I don't know what to do. It's not cutting very thin. It's a little bit warm. I'm just going to do the best I can.
I think, you know what, that is all we ever do.
And I'll just start dropping it in.
Oh, and they go in.
Yeah, you drop it in and mix it around. So I would think that melting the butter and pouring it in might be a better idea and mixing it all up.
That's odd, but you're going to have pockets of Velveeta cheese.
And pockets of butter.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird. My other weird story of 1985 happens to have something to do with the Where's the Beef lady from Wendy's.
Did she get arrested?
No, but she got fired from Wendy's.
What?
She had the audacity to try to make a living, and she went and tried to sell spaghetti sauce with the Campbell Soup Company, and they thought that was conflicting interests, so Wendy's fired her.
So was she like the spokesperson for Campbell's Soup?
Just said she did a spaghetti sauce commercial, and Wendy said this caused her to lose credibility.
Yeah, that seems a little extra.
I think it seems extra.
I'm mixing this stuff together. Wow. First off, kudos to you and your spinach crunching.
Oh, thank you. It's not very watery?
No.
Thank you. Because 1.5 teaspoons of flour ain't going to combat sogginess from spinach.
I mean, this is shockingly dry.
It is weird looking with these big chunks of Velveeta
It
and
is.
slivers of butter, whatever that means.
Kind of looks like an art installation.
It does. It does. It's weird.
It is. Yeah, I am truly surprised at how dry it is.
Yeah, it's not liquidy at all, which is very good. I'm hoping it kind of turns into more like a souffle type of thing.
Yeah, and it was a liquidy cottage cheese even.
It was.
Yeah, anyway.
You know, I wrote down that this would not have been the recipe on this memo that Mom would have made. She saved this for one of the other recipes.
Clearly the noodle pudding because it's underlined.
I think we as kids and our dad would have eaten the heck out of that noodle pudding. But this...
And our dad, no, would not have been eating the spinach.
With cottage cheese in it. Oh, now here's the weird thing.
Okay, tell us.
It says to cook it for 1 hour or until set, and it never gives a temperature for the oven.
Oh, you know, sometimes she would come back then the next week and say, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
BT dub, cook it at, but we never have the next week's.
No, we just have willy-nilly random Mary's memos.
Right.
So I looked up some spinach cheese casseroles online, and they bake them at 350.
This will be very interesting. They always
sure
are.
Will. Yeah, so we're going to pop that one in.
Yep.
And then we're going to let it cool and eat the heck out of that.
We're going to let it cool, and then we're going to try it.
Yes, that's true.
But
what?
Don't forget, we're going to first have our appetizer.
Oh, goody,
Did
goody
you forget?
I had forgotten. I was hoping you had also.
No. I will be getting the Ritz crackers out as this bakes. Don't you worry, people. We will be trying the delicious Velveeta appetizer. And if it goes as well as I am sure it's going to, I am super excited about throwing a Velveeta party.
That's creepy. But hey, speaking of weird foods,
yes,
I read this article about all these famous restaurateurs and chefs predicting what would be the next big thing in 1985 food-wise.
Okay.
Yeah, and so none of them were Velveeta, shock. None of them were spinach or cottage cheese.
Interesting.
But they were pretty interesting. Let's see, Julia Child was there.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she said that we've gone through kiwis and we're all done with mesquite. And she thought that the next big trend would be baked potatoes.
Not a bad choice.
I don't know that she necessarily was wrong because Wendy's started selling their baked potatoes. And I remember eating those in the early 90s as a diet food.
Oh, yeah.
You know, do the cabbage soup diet. One day you get a potato. I go to Wendy's, get me a daggone potato.
Perfect.
Delicious.
You're so lucky.
Yeah, a few more of them were really way out of touch with normal society.
I'm thinking Julia kind of was pretty good.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. A food journalist called William Rice said that domestic caviar would appear in caviar bars all around the nation.
Oh, please.
Because that happened.
Yeah. No, he lost touch with reality.
Yeah, I don't even think Richie McRicherson people had caviar bars around.
No, I don't think the average Joe wants to eat caviar.
Even the gourmand doesn't want to eat caviar on a regular basis or go to a caviar bar and just eat nothing but caviar?
No.
Okay, another one for Richie McRichers, I think, is the New York cookbook author Irina Chalmers says snails will be big in 85.
Again, average Joe.
Not going to eat the snails. And she goes on to say, especially snails in potato skins and on a croissant. Ew.
What? Wait. So you get your super crazy colored green snail.
Yeah.
You put it on a potato skin and then what? Cut your croissant and stick your potato skin and snail juice in the croissant?
No. Either have
one or the other.
Snail-filled potato skins or snail-filled croissants, which even though it's not as wackadoodle as what you were thinking, it's still wackadoodle.
I like my potato skins with cheese and bacon. Thank you very much.
A dollop of sour cream if you're crazy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Snails. Were people going to prep this at home?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know.
It was just not something that people could do. Now, speaking of my husband and his love of weird foods like spinach.
Yes.
Someone also thought that sardines would be a big trend.
It was for him.
Apparently it was.
Still is.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. It says once foodies get their hands on sardines, they'll turn into a multi-million-dollar industry.
Not yet.
Not yet. But they had one that came true.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Someone said that the most popular new Mexican item in non-Mexican restaurants will be
Quesadilla.
fajitas.
Fajita.
But because fajitas were not popular yet, he came out and explained exactly what is on fajitas.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
Well, yeah. According to this guy, fajitas consist of beef or chicken slices charbroiled, served on a sizzling platter with grilled onions, tortillas, pico de gallo, chopped combination of peppers, tomatoes, cilantro, and onions, guacamole, jack cheese, and sour cream.
He's correct.
He is absolutely correct.
I'm really pleased that he mentioned the sizzling skillet.
Yeah, that's the important part.
I also remember the first time, I want to say our father ordered fajitas.
It was special.
It was at Chi-Chi's.
Yeah, I remember that too. See, non-Mexican restaurant, right?
It's the only Mexican, I'm quoting, Mexican restaurant we had anywhere near us at the time. And the sizzling platter, it was
my gosh, it was a party.
It was, festive beyond festive.
Jaw-droppingly cool.
Yes.
It's sizzling on its way, all steam coming off of it.
Yes. Sizzling food is the best.
It's the best. All right, we're going to let that sucker cook for an entire hour at 350. Hopefully we guessed the temp right.
Yeah, here's hoping. If not, we'll eat it raw.
Delish. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Hello, we're back.
Oh, yes, we are.
So Kristen has been trying desperately to get out of eating the appetizer.
Yes.
I am oddly excited about this.
It's very odd for someone who does not like to eat strange things.
I mean, this is going to be totally disgusting. And I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. Now you have your camera ready, right?
I do. Yes. And unlike the picture that was online where it was a chunk of Velveeta, Kristen beautifully sliced. So we have nice cuts of Velveeta.
Lovely little
covering the cracker.
Yep.
Which leads me to cutting the cheese.
Oh my, Carrie. Come on now.
I mean, come on.
No.
You can't be cutting cheese and not discuss this.
Well,
it's the elephant in the room, Kristen. People want to know.
It is.
I looked it up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I thought, well, I mean, where did that come from? I mean, that's just odd. Yeah. Okay, so apparently cutting meant to expel intestinal gas. So, this was like back in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
So you could say in 1899, I cut my finger. And that was dee-deeing.
It was farting, huh?
Yes.
Carrie says dee-dee for those of you who do not know.
Yeah.
So you would say, oh, I've cut my finger.
Yes.
And it would be you.
And that means I have expelled some intestinal gas.
Wow.
Yeah. So then it was replaced with cheese in the mid-1900s. So 1965 to 1970. Presumably, because there's some stank cheeses out there.
Oh, yes.
So people were writing online, have you ever been in France, opened a refrigerator and go,
okay.
It's just cheese. Yeah, so anyway, so that's the reason why they guess it became cheese. But yeah.
Wow. Well, one of my most embarrassing childhood moments is all about saying the term cutting the cheese.
Really?
Yes. So I was at a friend's birthday party. Mm-hmm. It was around Halloween time. And they were playing that spooky music that they used to have in the 70s. Yeah. And it had a creaking door. And all of us kids thought it was hilarious that it sounded like a fart.
Yes.
And so Dad picked me up from this party. And with him was Mr. Furness, our school principal, who was one of Dad's best friends.
Yep.
And I get in the car and I'm like, how can I tell him about this funny thing? I'll say cutting the cheese. So I said, oh my gosh, we listened to this hilarious tape where the door creaked and it sounded like cutting the cheese. And Dad went, Kristen. And I was like, oh, but I didn't say fart. Right? I did something wrong. Mortification.
Yep.
He said, you don't say that in front of Mr. Furness. I was like, but I didn't say fart. I thought this was hilarious. It's my personality today. I'll say stuff because it's hilarious and people go, Kristen. So cutting the cheese is a bit traumatic, that term for me.
I'm so
I
sorry.
was so embarrassed in front of Mr. Furness.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that funny?
So I've got the ketchup ready to go. We'll see if the ketchup is kind of empty and maybe it'll make a cutting the cheese noise.
Oh, please don't put too much on.
Oh gosh,
Please just a drip.
This is one of those upside down bottles.
Yeah. Oh, it's a lot.
That is way less than they had on the picture.
No.
Okay, so
I don't want to do this.
Okay, do you want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
You have to eat it. You can't not.
I'll eat it. I promise. I
you
promise.
liar.
Well, while you take a bite, I'll tell everybody I didn't have regular Ritz. I had everything bagel Ritz crackers. So maybe that'll make it taste like, I don't know, a pizza or something. Does it help?
No. I mean, it's not disgusting, but it tastes like cheese, a cracker, and ketchup. All are perfectly fine ingredients. They're not exceptionally gross together.
Right.
But they're certainly not good together.
No.
I'll be perfectly honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just eat the cracker plain.
Well, let's move on
Okay.
to a different form of Velveeta.
So the sad part here is...
Yep.
Now I have nothing to serve at my Velveeta party.
Oh, Carrie.
That was it.
You still could go home and practice making those Velveeta teenies for your husband.
I could.
I bet he'd love them.
First, I have to infuse the vodka with Velveeta.
Yeah, like I said, crafty party. Infusing vodka with different things like Velveeta.
I mean, I think that's what everybody would pick first and foremost.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm,
well, gosh, this casserole looks really lovely.
It does. You can see the chunks of Velveeta.
You can. Yep. And when I first took it out of the oven, it was way puffed up like a souffle, and it had liquid butter floating all around the puffed part. But now that we've let it cool a little bit, the butter has kind of sunk back into the casserole.
It's soaked back in.
And the top of the casserole is completely flat.
I'm really hoping that this is more of a spinach dip. Oh, those little chunks of Velveeta. You still can see the
chunks of Velveeta, but the texture of it is like a souffle.
It is. This is some, I don't know, y'all.
You know, there was no salt or pepper or any seasoning in this at all.
I'm a little nervous. How sad is this? I am more nervous about eating this than I was the stupid Velveeta.
Really? Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, she's getting a good gooey part. I'm going to try to go for the top. Yeah, it looks great. We let it cool for a good 15, 20 minutes because it was still sizzling when it came out. Oh, Carrie is making a face. That is not good?
Nope.
Oh, no, really?
You might like it. You like cream spinach, right?
I love cream spinach.
Okay, so you may find this delightful. I do not like cream spinach at all, and it is very reminiscent to me of cream spinach.
I like it.
Yeah.
And when you take a bite, you can take your fork and kind of spread that Velveeta more evenly. I do not love it when I get a huge chunk of the Velveeta in my mouth.
I'm calling it as a Mary's Miss. I just coined that phrase.
A Mary's Miss? Oh my gosh.
We don't have many of those.
We do not.
So
if we go back in time, this is way less of a miss than the corned beef in lemon jello.
No.
You liked the corned beef better?
Yeah.
You are joking me.
I am not.
What about the coleslaw?
Oh, no. I don't ever want to eat that again. I have nightmares.
Okay, all right.
Beef brownies? Nope, this is better.
Okay, we should do a ranking of the worst to the best.
Ranking of rank.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
Well, that is it, thankfully, for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to mark your calendars for our next episode, which is on December 16th. And well, this time we made something with a very underappreciated vegetable that is remaining underappreciated. In the next episode, it will feature one of my favorite vegetables.
Ooh.
And I am not saying this ironically, and it's going to be peas.
It is not going to be peas.
No, it's not. I'm not being ironic. We'll see you then. Thanks for listening to Mom's Wooden Spoon. If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe. If you want a copy of this recipe or to see the pictures and other items from this episode, go to our website, momswoodenspoon.com. If you'd rather, check us out on Facebook or Instagram. Pick your poison.
Don't say poison. We're making food. Oh my gosh. Are you okay right now?
I'm bending over to pick up the ice.
Oh gosh. Don't bend over, Carrie.
My knees were like, oh.